Hello, Asia. We are the Golden Twins.
The morning sun rose slowly over the small fishing town of San Felipe, painting the quiet shoreline in hues of gold and blue. The sound of waves whispered against the sand, blending with the faint hum of two voices, soft, pure, and inseparable. They belonged to Mira and Mia, 14-year-old conjoined twin sisters who had shared one body since birth, joined at the chest where their hearts beat side by side. Every morning began the same way. Their mother, Luz, would wake before dawn to prepare her food cart for the day. Mira and Mia would help her pack rice cakes, arrange fruits, and tie the umbrella over the cart. The twins moved slowly but gracefully, their bodies swaying in perfect rhythm. Though each step took effort, their smiles carried no hint of complaint. When their chores were done, they would sit by the shore and hum a melody they had created themselves, a song born from dreams too big for their small world. The sound carried across the breeze, touching the hearts of fishermen, vendors, and children playing nearby. People often stopped, listening in silence, wondering how such voices could come from girls who had endured so much. Mira, the quieter one, often looked toward the horizon as she sang, her eyes deep with thought. Mia, the brighter spirit, lifted her head toward the sun, her face alive with light. Together, they sang as though they were reaching for something far beyond the waves, something unseen but deeply felt. And as their song floated into the morning air, a question seemed to rise with it: why do some souls carry such heavy burdens, yet fill the world with so much light? Their lives were not easy, the stares, the whispers, the endless doctor visits, yet every note they sang carried warmth, forgiveness, and hope. It was as if their voices were born to heal what life had broken. No one in San Felipe knew that beyond that small seaside town, destiny was quietly waiting. That the same voices that echoed over the waves would soon echo through a stage that would change their lives forever. The house the twins called home was no more than a fragile wooden structure standing on stilts above the water. When the tide rose, waves lapped beneath the floorboards, whispering stories of the sea. The roof leaked when it rained, and the wind often crept through the cracks at night. Yet to Mira and Mia, it was a sanctuary, a place filled with warmth, laughter, and song. Their mother, Luz, had built a world of love inside those thin walls. She was a woman whose hands were rough from years of work, yet gentle when they touched her daughters' faces. When the girls were born, doctors told her they would not survive the night. But Luz refused to let go. She sang lullabies instead of goodbyes, her trembling voice wrapping them in faith. And somehow, the twins lived. From that day, music became their heartbeat. Luz would hum songs as she cooked, and the girls would echo her in soft, uncertain tones. Over time, their voices found each other, one deep, one bright, weaving together in perfect harmony. Their connection went beyond shared skin and bone. When Mira breathed in, Mia breathed out. When Mia began a note, Mira finished it. Two souls, one song. In the evenings, when the sun bled into the horizon, they would sit by the window, singing to the sea. The fishermen below often stopped paddling to listen. Some would close their eyes, letting the sound drift over the water like a prayer. In those moments, the world forgot the shape of their bodies and remembered only the beauty of their voices. Mira was thoughtful and quiet, her eyes always searching the distance as if she were chasing answers the world could not give. Mia was full of light, always smiling first, always believing in tomorrow. They balanced each other. Mira's calm steadied Mia's fire, and Mia's hope brightened Mira's silence. Though they had so little, their music made them feel rich. It was their way of speaking to a world that didn't always understand them. Their way of surviving without bitterness, of turning pain into something pure. And somewhere deep inside, both sisters began to dream. The morning the twins left San Felipe, the sky hung low with clouds, as if the heavens themselves were uncertain. The sea was restless, waves slapping against the stilts of their home. Luz stood by the doorway, holding a small suitcase, the only one they owned. Inside were two dresses, a pair of shoes they shared, and a folded photograph of the three of them together. It was all they could carry, yet it felt heavier than anything she had ever lifted. Luz had spent months saving every coin she earned from her street cart. But when she counted the money the night before, it wasn't enough. In silence, she opened a wooden box that had lain hidden beneath her bed. Inside was her wedding ring, the last thing she had from the man who had once promised forever. She sold it the next morning, her heart breaking and healing in the same breath. The bus ride to Manila was long. Mira and Mia sat by the window, their heads resting together, eyes wide with wonder. It was their first time leaving their town, the first time seeing endless roads, billboards, and mountains that looked like clouds. The world outside moved fast, but inside the bus, time seemed to slow. Mira watched the scenery with quiet awe, her reflection merging with Mia's in the glass, two faces, one gaze. Mia leaned closer, humming softly, and soon their harmony filled the air around them, gentle and fragile. The passengers nearby turned to listen, their tired faces softening. The twins didn't notice. They were lost in their music, as if singing to steady their own hearts. Luz sat across from them, her hands clasped, whispering prayers she could not speak aloud. She had told herself this was just another trip, but in her soul, she knew it was more. It was a journey of faith, one that carried all her hopes, all her fears, and all her love. As the city lights of Manila appeared in the distance, golden and alive, the rain began to fall. The twins pressed their faces to the glass, watching droplets race down the window like tears. Somewhere beyond those lights, destiny waited, not as a dream to chase, but as a miracle waiting to be sung. The stage lights burned brighter than anything the twins had ever seen. The vast auditorium shimmered like a world of stars, 1,000 eyes waiting, 1,000 hearts ready to judge. Mira and Mia stood side by side, their small figures framed by the glow of the spotlight. Their matching white dresses fluttered softly in the air-conditioned breeze, as if the light itself was holding its breath for them. Behind the judges' table sat faces they had only seen on television. Simon Cowell, stern and unreadable, leaned forward, his expression calm but curious. Around him, the other judges smiled gently, whispering to each other. The audience murmured in anticipation, a low hum of curiosity, surprise, and disbelief. Few had ever seen conjoined twins perform. None had expected they would sing. The room fell silent when the music began. A single piano note echoed across the stage, soft, almost trembling. Then, slowly, their voices rose. It was Mira who began, her tone deep and fragile, carrying the ache of every night she had wondered if the world would ever see her as more than her body. Then Mia joined, bright, soaring, full of warmth. Together, they became one voice, one song, a sound so pure it seemed to lift the weight from every listener's chest. The crowd was still. No movement. No whisper. Even Simon's composure began to falter. His eyes softened, his jaw trembled. The twins sang as though they were remembering every hardship, every stare, every prayer whispered by their mother when hope seemed too far away. And as they reached the final note, a harmony so perfect it seemed to come from heaven itself, Simon lowered his gaze, his eyes shining with something unspoken. When the last note faded, silence lingered, heavy, sacred, beautiful. Then, a single clap broke it. Another. And then, like a wave, the audience rose to their feet. The roar of applause filled the room, thunderous and unstoppable. Simon pressed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti burst from above, falling like blessings from the sky. The twins looked up, eyes wide, as the glitter drifted around them, the same color as the morning sun that once touched their small coastal home. And in that moment, the world didn't see conjoined twins. It saw two souls who had turned pain into light, two hearts that had found their voice. When the lights dimmed and the confetti settled, the twins stood motionless, their faces lifted toward the glittering gold that still hung in the air. For a moment, the world felt weightless, as if time had paused to honor the quiet miracle that had just unfolded. Backstage, Luz pressed her hands to her mouth, trembling as she watched her daughters disappear into the glow of the stage lights. She had dreamed of this day but never truly believed it would come. News of the performance spread like wildfire. Within hours, clips of their song filled screens across the world, millions of views, countless tears, and words of awe in every language. People called them angels, miracles, voices of hope. They had not only moved Simon Cowell to tears, they had reminded the world what courage and grace truly looked like. In interviews, they smiled shyly, never taking credit. They spoke of their mother, of their home by the sea, of how love had carried them where strength alone could not. Reporters tried to capture the magic in words, but no description could match the truth of their harmony, that mysterious union of sorrow and light that could only exist between two hearts beating side by side. Months passed. The fame slowly quieted, but its echo remained, not in headlines, but in hearts. In their small town of San Felipe, children now sang their song at church, their voices rising into the same morning air that once carried the twins' humble melodies. Fishermen paused at dawn to listen, remembering how those same harmonies once drifted over the waves. Luz still sold rice cakes by the roadside, but people came not just to buy, they came to thank her. To tell her how her daughters had changed them, how their music had healed something invisible. Back home, Mira and Mia sat by the window again, watching the sunset turn the ocean to gold. They no longer dreamed of stages or cameras. They simply sang, for their mother, for their town, for the joy of being alive together. Their song rose softly above the waves, a reminder that even in bodies bound by limitation, spirits can soar beyond measure. For sometimes, the most extraordinary voices come from those the world once called broken, voices that remind us all of what it means to be whole.